Someday I'll get a little bit better at this. For now, which one do I want? There we go. For now, welcome to the Blip Sounds live stream review for March. And I'm excited to be with you all. I hope you all are as well. We've got Discord comments up on here. And stop it. And we are live and we are rocking and rolling. So I hope everybody's excited. I know we have chat going on Discord as well as also on YouTube. And Ryan is managing both of them. So he will be talking to you all and making fun of me and all that other good stuff. And I will just be here reviewing the videos. Ryan is already saying very terrible things about me. And so I want to correct some things. No, I do not smell. I took a shower last week, so I'm still good. Ya jerk. Thank you, Ryan, for correcting this. I do not smell. I smell rather good, actually. Do I need anything else? Do I have everything? Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. So, all right, I hope everyone is doing well. I'm super excited to dive into this. And without further ado, for those of you who are just joining in and have no idea what we're talking about, we are reviewing all of the streams for the March, or all of the videos that were submitted for the March competition. Last time I looked, I think there were about 23 entries. So I'm excited to dive in. We'll go until about 2, and then we'll take a quick little break. We'll jump back in, we'll go on, and we'll hope to end at around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully our European crowd will be able to hang out with us and not fall asleep ahead of time. To our West Coast, most of you are probably waking up, so good morning. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all of these videos as well. Excuse me, I'm not sick. We finally just had rain here in Orlando, but we've been dry for the longest time, and we've had a lot of pollen, and it has just made my sinuses go crazy. So if you hear me cough, it's just a cough. It gets aggravated by pollen and by excessive talking. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try not to cough as much. I just cough when I get excited. All right, without further ado, we're gonna dive in. So first up, we have Kevin Gillen, and let's just go ahead and dive in. Kevin, if you're with us, say hi, and look forward to checking out your video. He used his coffee machine as his sound source. That's something else that I should probably preface, just in case y'all are wondering. So, for those of you who, like I said, are just joining us and have no idea what's going on, so for the March competition, the challenge was to use a single sound source when recreating the video. We recreated the lightning attack from Star Wars: The Old Republic for the Sith Sorcerer class. And the challenge was to use a single sound source, but you could record as many variations of that sound source. So Kevin used a coffee machine. In my video, I used my electric beard trimmer, and Yuso Tolanen, who joined me as well, used a rubber workout band. So I thought his was a really, really cool sound. So let's check out Kevin's sound. Nice. Very aggressive, very strong attack. So one of the things that stands out to me is it's a little too aggressive on the high end. 6 p.m. in Blighty. Welcome. Welcome, Jimmy Jabba. So it's a little too aggressive on the high end. That's just kind of like my take from it. There's a lot of good low end there. There's good low end rumble, and it's helping to really create the weight and intensity of the attack. Like I said, I think the high end is just a little too piercing. Could probably tone that down a little bit. Really great attack overall. Oh. Good attention to detail. I like it. I think it's a good strong video right out the gate. I like it. Way to go, Kevin. Great video overall. Like I said, great attack. I like it. Next we have Mr. Nicholas Smith. Despite lots of time being stuck in the house, last minute effort. Nicholas, if you're on the stream, you can go ahead and let us know what sound source you used. I'm going to make a similar statement about Nicholas's that I made with Kevin. I think the high end is a little too intense, a little piercing, but I like the intensity of it, the intensity of the video overall. It almost sounds like you used a steamer of some kind. Like it sounds like there might have been a steamer or something used. If there was another coffee sound or something like that, that would have been pretty awesome as I drink my iced coffee. Coffee is good. Coffee is life. Coffee is every sound designer and musicians and composers and producers' friend. I will fight anybody on that. Yeah, like I said, I think the high end is a little too intense. And I think your reverb right at the end when this effect that's going on, I think for me it hangs just a little too long after that attack finishes. Yeah, I think the reverb tail is a little too long. I think you could have shortened that. I have no idea. But I will side with you on tea. Especially like Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey. And my wife loves matcha. Like, she is a huge fan of matcha. Again, apologies for the coughing. Coffee for breakfast, tea for tea. Yes, thank you, thank you, Nephew Squosh. So eloquently put. What about second breakfast? I don't think he knows about second breakfast. Matcha is so trendy. Yes, it is. It is. I will give it that. But my wife loves green tea and it's been very good to her. So, yeah, Nicholas. Like I said, I think your reverb at the end of that first attack, I think it lasts a little too long. I think you have also a little bit too much reverb on the attack itself. I think you could have backed off some of the reverb, and like I said, the high end is a little too piercing. I'm willing to concede it could also be my setup, but it just feels a little too harsh for my ears. Turn down my gain a little on the mic. All right, I'm going to do that. Let me know how that works for y'all, if that sounds better like that. I think the gain might have been a little too hot. So yeah, great job overall. I think you had a little bit too much reverb. I think you could have backed off of that. Let's check out Andy Salazar. He used his umbrella? Holy cow. Andy, that sounds amazing. For using your umbrella, I love that sound. That is such a good attack. Like if you're either watching this on stream or you are watching this later, like please like just post in Discord or somewhere just like a brief overview of how you made that sound. Like I want to know what you did with your umbrella. Like that is ridiculous. I love it. Dang! That is such a good, strong attack. Like, seriously, that's what I want to know. Like, how did you do that in using an umbrella? Like, that is such a strong attack. There's a lot of great things going on in there. Like, yeah. he just hooked his umbrella. He just hooked a mic onto his umbrella and stood outside waiting for lightning to strike. Andy. That is amazing. Holy cow. Great job. Again, whatever you did sounds amazing. I love that sound. Oh, true. Yeah, you can get really interesting textures scratching the outside of the umbrella. Yeah. That's see, Ryan, that's why you're yes. Okay, Andy, he's on our YouTube stream. So, hey, yes, Andy, please share with us how you made that sound. It's incredible. I absolutely love it. Like, that is sick. Such a great job. Like, I love that punch right at the beginning of both the attacks, especially on that second attack. Like, that's a really good punch. Like, that's a great job. Really sells the intensity of it. I love it. So, thank you. Like, great job. And let's check out Ryan Bundy. He says he used a balloon. It's sadly unfinished. You know, for being an unfinished work, there's a lot of good things going on in there. And Andy says that he'll share something. I think it sounds... Yeah, thank you. Yes, Andy, thank you. On the YouTube chat, he said he's gonna share what he did, so that's awesome because we can all learn a lot from that. Ryan, if you're on the stream, I just want to say thank you for participating, even though it's not finished. Like I said, there's a lot of good ideas going on in there. And I'm not gonna go critique it too hard because you, I'm sure, are probably already very aware of all the things you want to do or could do. So I like that little sound at the end. Like, so when the proc happens and you see that effect. I like that sound that you were using. I guess you were like scraping your hand on the balloon. That sounded really cool. And go ham, Brian. That kind of I guess you were letting air out of the balloon or filling the balloon or something. So you had like some sort of like tremolo or LFO going underneath it. I think you could have exaggerated that a lot more. and really just make it sound aggressive. And with a lot of these things, it's always I always opt for using saturation and distortion anytime you want to make something sound aggressive, because it helps. You know, Jojoba, is it just me, or does Brian sound a lot like Andrew Huang? If I do, it's not on purpose, but that is probably one of the biggest honors I could ever receive. I love Andrew. I love his videos. I think he's incredibly talented. So to be compared to him, I will take that as one of the hugest honors I've ever been given. They're on to us. Yes, Andrew Huang is my other job. Oh man, I wish. He is crazy talented. Just to be considered in even any sort of similar league with him would be ridiculous. But I digress. Yeah, I think using saturation or distortion helps to really make any sound more aggressive, especially the distortion. The distortion on a sound, like if you've ever seen it, like either in an analyzer or using EQ with an analyzer on it. Oh, no, Jojoba, never apologize for the distractions. That's part of the live stream, is being able to interact with you all. Get rid of the beard. No, see, I like the beard. The beard makes me have a face. Without the beard, I look too weird. There are photos floating around me of without the beard, and I'll let you all find them. You can just Google me. You'll probably find them. I don't like me without the beard. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So distortion on a sound, part of what helps it make it more aggressive. Distortion, if you've ever seen like on an analyzer or on an EQ with an analyzer, adds so many more frequencies, so it fills out a sound, which is why we like saturation. Saturation helps something to feel warm. Like if you've ever heard somebody talk about warmth. Thank you. Nope. I am not participating in that vote. I will not be shaving this beard. Nope. I am not participating in that vote. You guys can vote all you want. Not happening. No, stop it. Oh wait, nope. Nope. To get rid of it, to keep it. Yes, I want to keep the beard. We are keeping the beard. No, do not get rid of the beard. Go full. No, I can't go longer. If I go longer, I just look homeless. Like, the problem is that it's not as full. Like, it's really full right here, but not here. And it's very wiry. So as it gets longer, it starts to curl. And so this is probably the longest I can get and get away with it. And then I'll have to trim it up. Y'all are gonna make me get huge. I'm gonna just wind up like finding an old photo of me without a beard and just showing it, just so you all can see it. But yes, to keep my beard in check, I have to use a lot of beard oil, and then I have to like brush it out and things like that. Like it's a whole thing. But I love my beard. What was I saying? Yes. So distortion really helps to make a sound more aggressive, in part because it adds it adds a lot more frequencies to it. Like it not adds more frequencies. It brings out the harmonics to it, but also the distortion does a lot to the waveform to make it more harsh, and that's where that intensity comes from. So with this balloon sound, like I said, there's a lot of great ideas in here, and I think both with the tremolo that you were using and adding distortion, that Brian was born with a beard. Yes, that's the legend. Yes, the adding tremolo and distortion to it would make that balloon sound much more intense. And because the balloon offers such a limited frequency range, using saturation, like I said, because it adds the harmonics, would help to bring out more frequencies. So it would help to add more depth to the sound. You could also layer some sounds on there too. So take copies of that sound and pitch them up and down, and that'll give you a lot more EQ layers. Or, you know, you could use them in a resampler, and in a resampler you can do different pitches, which is stuff I've done in the past. Whenever you're dealing with a sound source that has a very limited pitch, and in this instance, because we couldn't use white noise, you would want to try and get as much frequency in there as possible. Yeah, I was wondering too. It sounds like maybe he was just letting the air come out of the balloon. So I think there were a lot of great ideas in there. And then of course, lastly, to end it, would have been to get a sound of you popping the balloon. So you have some sort of pop for an attack. And once you do that, obviously, then you can't use the balloon anymore. Well, you can still use the balloon because there's a lot of other sounds that you could create with it. Similar, if you saw Yuso's video when he took his rubber band and he was like, pulling it through his fingers to get that, those staccato sounds, like the kind of thing. You could use the balloon a lot for that and get some more intense noises under there. So that's enough with that. I don't think Ryan intended us to sit on his video for so long. So we're going to move on. I got that. So now to Francesco. Let's check out his video. Here's a creaking door of the sideboard in my kitchen pretending to be a lightning attack. Oh, nice. There's a lot of really cool things going on in there. I love the sounds that you got from it. I'm guessing you probably did a lot of pitch shifting in there, which is really cool. I can hear some artifacts in there, but I love the intensity. I think you could have added a little bit more of an attack to it. Like there's, and by attack I mean like right at the beginning, like there's no sharp attack right at the beginning of it. Like especially right there on that short attack. Like that would have been a great chance for just some sort of like boom or something like that. And I like it overall. I mean, the fact that you got that from a door is incredible, and I give you a lot of props for that. So great job. I want to hear that again. Yeah, great job on the it feels very filled out from a frequency perspective. I think you could have added a little bit more low end to the attack, but great overall. The high end sounds really good. Nothing is poking out at me. Yeah, it's great chirping sounds in there. Like it feels like lightning. I just think that the attack could have been more aggressive, and that you could have added some sort of like boom or something like that in there to really heighten the attack more, to really give it more intensity. That's what I wanted to say. And like some sort of like boom right at the beginning. Yeah, I love some of that I guess static sounds that you had in there. I don't know exactly what word I would use to describe it, but it reminds me of listening to what do you give me a second. It's right there on the tip of my tongue. It reminds me of a Faraday cage. If you know those so the cage that has like the pole and the ball in the middle, and the ball shoots static electricity from the center of it to the cage on the outside. So it reminds me of listening to a Faraday cage. What? Oh, Ryan. I love you. I don't know what this is, but this is amazing. Yes. Love it. I always make dumb faces. This is, if you wonder why I don't like taking pictures, because I always feel like I make dumb faces. All right, Zachary Booth is up next. All right, so Zach used a tape measure, which is that's awesome that you got that from there, and can't wait for the next challenge. Going to be a new ritual. Zachary, thank you for being part of our competition. Absolutely wonderful. I love it. I love that you had so much fun with it, and that you got great advice on our Discord channel. And that is one of the reasons that we do this competition, is because it gives you a chance to practice and to improve as a sound designer, because you get you get that time to practice, you get community feedback, and then we have these times where we get to review it, and you get a chance to just learn a lot from doing. Because I believe the best way to learn is just to do something, because it you get your hands dirty, you figure out what works, what doesn't work, and I love that we have people so excited about the competition. And so Zachary, for your sound, I think my biggest critique would be it's a little too harsh on the high end, and that's partly because a tape measure, most of its sound is in the high end. I can hear some low end stuff, so either you've done some parallel processing or you've pitched a lot of stuff down. Ooh, I love that. That little, I just noticed that whoosh right at the beginning, and then how you hear it at the end of the first attack. Great attention to detail. I love that, especially visually here when the proc happens. Great attention to detail. I love it. Great job with that. Like I said, I think the high end is a little too harsh. I think you could have tamed that, either rolling off some of the high end or using some multi-band compression or something. And again, just some sort of sharp attack right at the beginning. That's I know it doesn't seem like it, but having some sort of like harsh attack right at the beginning really what's the term that I want to use? Creates more intensity for the attack and establishes a finite beginning of the attack. So yeah, don't be afraid to add intensity to it. Don't be afraid to really boost some of the other frequency ranges on this. The nice thing about the high end is that if this were being played, say in a boss fight or something like that, where there's a lot of music and there's a lot of other noise going on, the high end will help it poke out a lot more. But I think in this instance, the high end is a little too harsh and would get a little too intense. Hold on, I'm... what else? Yeah, so yeah, having some sort of like sharp attack right at the beginning creates more intensity, creates a finite beginning of the attack. And Yeah, but other than that, I think you did a great job. The fact that you got all of that with a tape measure and your attention to detail is great. Really proud of you, Zach, for doing this. I can't wait to hear what you do next month. Shameless plug for April's competition. If you haven't seen the announcement video yet, we are recreating an attack from League of Legends, and we are doing this using only synths. So on our Discord page where we make the announcement, we have a link to a bunch of free synths that you can download. So if you are just starting out and you don't really have any synth plugins, we have links to lots of free ones that you can get. In the video, it's myself, Joshua Mallard, and Doku give our breakdowns. And I use a lot of the free synths in my breakdown just to show you what they can do. There are some great sounds in there, and I'm really excited to see what you all create. I know some of you in the community are super excited for the all synth stuff because I know some of you love synths. And nephew Scrosh. Oh, I don't know how I feel about any of that. I don't know how I feel. Yes. Zachary, great job. Thank you for participating. We have Le Burned Audio. I remember you from last month, and I'm excited to hear what you do this month. So what did you used? Oh, so before I even listened to it, just going off that picture alone, I take it you just plugged in your cable and you were just messing with the end of it to get all sorts of clicks and pops. Dang. Nice. Nice job. Burned Audio. Absolutely love it. Great job with that. Blip Sounds chat is just driving me crazy right now. For those of you who are just joining, some people have compared me to Andrew Huang, not in looks. He is way more devilishly handsome than I ever am, but comparing how we talked, like that I sounded a lot like him, and then of course, like any good joke, it just spiraled out of control from there. So yes, LeBurned, absolutely incredible job. First of all, I think it was ingenious using that because you get a lot of there's a wide band of frequencies in there with that sound, and you also get like some of the clicks and pops from there. I like that. I like that attention to detail. Did you just change my name? You changed my name, Ryan, in Discord. Yeah, I love your attention to detail on the setup of the attack and on that proc. I think you could have been a little bit more exaggerated with that proc sound, with the like, by exaggerated I mean bring it out a little bit more, make it a little bit more intense. Never be afraid to go a little too intense with something. Even if you think like you've pushed it too hard, like too far, sometimes you might not have pushed it far enough. Leo Burney, okay, he's on our YouTube chat, and you're welcome. Like, yes, I enjoyed it a lot. I think you did a great job with it. Like I said, I think that you could have made the proc sound, like I said, exaggerate it a little bit more. But I love the frequency range that you got on it. There's some good low end. The high end is there. It's not poking out. It's got a great presence to it, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. I love it overall. I think you did an incredible job with that, and I love your sound source. Like that's one of those sound sources that you just wouldn't expect. Like you wouldn't think about using, and that's great. Like this one and the umbrella are just like blew my mind. Like I just never even thought that to use something like that. So Le Burned Audio, great job, loved it, absolutely wonderful. Isail, I'm always butchering this name. Isail, if you could just do me a huge favor, whether you want to DM me or post it in Discord, can you just send like an audio clip of you just pronouncing your name so that I don't embarrass myself and butcher your name every time I try to say it? Yuso did that for me, and it was hugely awesome. So yeah, just like send a brief audio clip of like, this is how my name is pronounced. So that I actually do you justice. Waves, yes. Yes, if creativity is king, waves is queen. That feels very, very true. I would venture to say that even if you don't have any of the waves any of the waves bundles, I think everyone here probably has at least one waves plugin somewhere buried in their plugin list. You know, it might, even if you just got like something for free one time. That's kind of one of those companies where I think I will crazy French name. Okay. Now I think I have an idea of how your name might be pronounced, because I took French in high school and college. Don't ask me to talk to you in French because I barely remember it. Yep. What Ryan said, just walk around your apartment and just try things. Yes. So Leo on YouTube wrote, I'm flattered. Honestly, the ground loop was the first source that came to mind in terms of electrical current and hands. Yes. And I'll make sure to push it more for the April challenge. Never be afraid to push it. Because especially with plugins, and this is something I don't remember which one that I sent to Chris, but one of the nice things about working in the digital world is that you can push your plugins as hard as you want because you're not going to break anything. They're not analog plugins where you risk, oh boy, where it's not like an analog plugin where if you push it too hard, you might break a transistor or tube or something. You know, go nuts on your analog plugins. Push them as hard as you possibly can, and just see what happens. You can always dial it back. So try, when you grab a plugin, just push all knobs up and see what kind of sound it creates. And then to Ryan's point, if you're trying to figure out something to... I hate you, Ryan. If you're trying to figure out what to record, just walk around. If you have like a Zoom mic, like I have the H1 saving up to get, I think the H6, but you can just walk around with this and just point it at different things, and walk around with a pen, your hand, a drumstick, whatever. Just start hitting things and hear what it sounds like. What sounds are being made. You can also, so this comes with a neat little hand holder, but it also fits on a mic stand. So set it up on a mic stand, or get like the little tripod that you can order with it, and set it up on your desk and just hit things, bop things, make sounds in front of it, listen to what it sounds like, and and then figure it out from there. Drop it into samplers. Drop it in your DAW and mess with the pitch. Speed it up, slow it down, increase the pitch, lower the pitch. Just hear what things sound like. And the goal isn't to overthink what the sound is. The goal is just to hear what it sounds like. And then imagine, what could I make from this? And that's one of the reasons why I love doing the single source sound design, is that the goal isn't to overthink it. The goal is just to get a bunch of sounds and then make something from it. But by making it a single source, we're creating a limitation. So now you're not going, oh, I have a whole room of stuff to record. What do I record? You're going, okay, well, let me just grab the first thing that I see, make some sounds, and then see what I can make from it. So yeah, just have fun with it. So now we're going to dive in. I will only accept feedback in French. I don't remember much of my French from high school and college. So if I were to do my entire feedback in French, it would literally just me going, bonjour, je m'appelle, I don't even know how I would say Brian in French, but bonjour, je m'appelle Brian. Like, that's just going to be your feedback over and over and over. It's like in How I Met Your Mother, when Marshall only knew the one line in Italian, but he kept saying it over and over and over with different inflections, so it sounded like he was saying something. All right. So Isaiah, let's check out your sound. And since you're on the chat with us, what was your single source? Nice. Did you mean like Funyuns was your sound source? Abdul Kader. Abdul Kadar. Oh boy. I love when we do the live chat. Aluminum foil, nice. So I love that you added that little attack right there in the beginning, especially like there's like a little build up to it, then you have the sharp attack right at the beginning. That is incredible. Oh yes, Funyuns. Yes, that's what he keeps talking about, is that he likes Funyuns. Yes, the How I Met Your Mother. It's in the, what is it? I think it's in the second to last season, where Marshall talks to Lily just over and over and over using that one line in Italian. It's hilarious. Yeah, great attack. Great strong attack right at the beginning. I think you could definitely have a little bit more low end in there. I love it. It's the aluminum foil, like some of the high end scraping that you get from there, adds a lot of intensity to the attack. And no. I think we have baby ducks outside of our apartment, and my wife is losing it right now. Yeah, I love the intensity of the attack, and using the foil, you're getting a lot of that high end from there, and it's adding that destructiveness to it. My one critique is I wish you would have added that same intense attack on the second half of the attack as well too, because I love that right at the beginning. Yeah, I wish you would have added that right into that attack. And no, not dogs, ducks. Sorry, baby ducks. We have ducks all around our apartment, and they're much better than having squirrels all around here. And I think there's baby ducks outside. And unfortunately, this is on a webcam on my computer screen, so I couldn't exactly drag it around to go show you. But if I can snap a photo, I'll see if I can load it. Can I see them? Nope, I can't see them. Nope. Ow. No, I can't see them from where I'm at. Maybe on break time I'll go and find them and take some photos and share them with everybody. Yeah, Azile, great job. Love it. Like I said, my one critique is that you would have added that attack on that beginning of the attack onto the second half as well, and add a little bit more low end. Other than that, great job. Absolutely love it. And sorry I didn't do my whole critique to you in French. It's been such a long time since I've used it. And let's see, what is it, 2020? I graduated from college 13 years ago. So it is... Did I just walk on one? No. No ducks in my apartment. Oh, Nephew Squosh. The moment we've all been waiting for. Well, I don't know if anybody's been waiting for it besides Squosh. What did he use? So she sent me a sound recording of cooking green beans, and I used that. I didn't know you had a daughter. Wow, I'm learning all sorts of new things about Squosh. All right, let's check this out. Goodness. Nice. See, I'm mostly shocked that you had a daughter, because I always imagined you being in like your early 20s. I mean, not saying that you couldn't have a daughter in your early 20s. I just didn't picture that. So cool. I love that sound, especially getting it from the green beans. Yep, she's 10 now. Aww. Goodness. No, I agree with Chad. Squosh, great job. I love the low end. I love the intensity to it. Similar to some of my other critiques, some sort of like attack right at the beginning, some sort of intense or some sort of like sharp attack right at the beginning to create the intensity. Young 39, really 39? Well, I mean, I've only ever talked to you like over voice chat, and only ever seen like photos that you post, but never of yourself. You're 39. I'm 36, so I'm catching up to you. Hashtag old people of sound design. Yeah, I'm getting distracted by learning so many new things about Squosh. I need to just get back to reviewing your sound. Sorry, live stream. The proc sound, it gets a little weird. It kind of sounds like something hitting a mic boom. And you know, like if you've ever heard someone like fumbling with like a mic stand or something like that. So that's it's kind of a weird sound. I don't know how I feel about it. I think part of it is because there's a ringing tone in there somewhere, and I think you could have gone through with like an EQ with a narrow Q on it, found whatever tone or tones were ringing, and pull it out. But beyond that, I love that sound. I think you did a great job with it. Great frequency spectrum. Like there's nothing that's poking out to me in a weird way. Like I said, it's just that one thing where the proc happens and it gets a little weird at some point. I think also too, because that proc, the volume is, or the gain is either as loud as the rest of the attack or too loud, so it kind of is a little distracting. So either like pull the gain down or pull out some of those tonal frequencies in there. But other than that, like, I love it. I think you did a great job, and the fact that you got that from roasting green beans is incredible. See, and I love that. It's a great example of, like, who would have thought cooking green beans and a stovetop would equal lightning attack? It just, you can make anything sound like anything. It's just a matter of throwing it into your DAW and just going nuts with it and trying different things. Ooh, I need to hurry up. I'm getting too distracted. So we have Tomas Palazzi. And I was like, 23. Oh, we'll blow through that real fast. Nope, I kept getting distracted. All right. The challenge was to use one sound source for this. My fridge was being insane, and I recorded it using and use it on this. This is, ooh, first time joining us. Hey, Tomas, so glad to have you with us. If you're on the live stream, jump in and say hi, and I'm really excited to dig into your sound. So there's some cool things going on in there. I can see the direction you were wanting to go, and I think that that's really cool. Again, this is where I've said, like, this is why I love doing it as a live stream, because of the interaction between the audience. So yes, am I distracted? Yes, but it's not a bad thing. Like, I love having the conversation going on. Like, I love this being able to dialogue back and forth. So it's not a critique or a review in a vacuum. I love the community aspect of it. So please keep distracting me. Please keep posting funny memes. I think it's hilarious. And we're just going to keep plugging away. And I think at some point, Chris Parker is going to join us. And I know once he does in chat, it's going to be all over, because he is the king of memes. So Tomas, thank you for joining us, especially for your first sound design, or your first time doing sound design. So glad that you're with us, and we hope that this was an incredible learning experience for you. Like I said, I can see what you were trying to do. I'm not sure all of the processing that you did on it. I don't know how much of it is raw recordings and how much of it you processed. That's definitely a really unique sound in there. It sounds like you had have some good. Yes, distracting me makes me happy. It shows me that you guys are invested and having fun with it. There's some good frequency spectrum going on in the sound that you used. I can hear some of the low end. There's some mid range and some high end in there. I think what's happening is that because this is your first time, you don't have that experience behind it yet to really go crazy with it. So my critique is I think that what was I going to say? I think that there's a lot that you could still do to it. I think you could have added more saturation to it, more distortion to it. Is the stream being kind of wacky? Is it like freezing? I think my internet might be acting up a little. I know that a lot of internet providers and a lot of I think YouTube especially. YouTube and Netflix are starting to throttle some of their internet stuff just because so many more people are on it. So if it keeps cutting out like that, I might have to make some adjustments to the stream. So if it's cutting in and out, just let me know. Especially if it's too distracting. I haven't really been keeping an eye on stream, just kind of like glancing out of the corner of my eye. So if it's constantly cutting and trying to catch up, just let me know. Okay, cool. As long as everybody thinks it's working, then that's fine. I'm happy with that. Tomas, if you have more questions about sound design, like please jump into our Discord channel and ask away. I like I said, I'm so happy that you joined us and that you're trying your hand at it. Like I said, I think you could have. I think you could have added, not added. I think you could have, yes, added some distortion to it, used some parallel processing. And I know I keep throwing parallel processing out there for those of you who don't know what I mean. So parallel processing is where you either, so you process, you have the original track and then you have a second track that's the same as the first, but you're doing all of your processing on that. So you can do that in one or two ways. You can copy the track and then do all of your processing on the second track, or you can route it into a second track. So you have like on most DAWs, when you set up your routing, you can have it routed so that the track itself is playing audio and the second track that you're routing into is also playing audio. And so you have the two tracks running in parallel, and then you're doing all of your processing on the second track. So that's called parallel processing. So you might have heard of parallel compression, parallel EQ, all that kind of stuff. It's a great way to keep all of the original stuff of the track. So like it's great when you have drums, like something that's very transient. You don't want to lose the transients, but you want to bring out more fatness. You can parallel process the drums, and so in which on the second track you are just squashing the drums with compression, also known as New York compression for those of you who may have heard that term and don't know what it means. So hold on. So like I said, with something that has a lot of transients, it's great where you can keep the transients, but then you can also make a really fat sound as well too. So it's especially useful in sound design when you have a sound, you want to keep its integrity for some reason, but then you want to create a lot of craziness going on underneath it. You can do a lot of parallel processing. I do that whenever I'm trying to get more frequencies out of something. So if I have a sound, say for some reason I want to make a sound and I want to boost its low end and I want to boost its high end. Now I can just throw an EQ on it and use what we call the smile EQ. And a smile EQ is where you boost a low shelf and a high shelf so it looks like a smile. But I also want to maintain the sound itself. So what I'll do is I'll parallel process it. I'll either route it or I'll just make a copy of it depending on whatever it is I want to do. And I'll put the smile EQ on the other one and I can boost the low end. Or sometimes I'll do one where I'm boosting the low end and then another track where I'm boosting the high end because I want to process them even more differently from there. Like on the low end, I want to add compression. On the high end, I want to add distortion. And then keep the original sound just as itself, maybe with very little processing on it. That's one way where you can take a sound and add more frequency spectrum to it. So if you have something where you're like, oh, I wish I had more low end or I wish I had more high end, but you want to also keep the original sound itself, yes, you can just use sends for that. That's why I said, depending on what I want to do, sometimes I'll make duplicates, sometimes I'll just use sends. It depends. Usually I'll make duplicates if I plan on chopping up the sound. So duplicates is a great way to chop it up because when you do the send and then you want to chop things up, then you have to automate a send mute, which is not that big of a deal. It's not a hard thing, but if I'm trying to adjust it, I like to adjust a track itself and not a send mute. So that's the reason why I would duplicate a track versus just use a send. But I've done all of the above. I've duplicated tracks. I've also done sends. And it's, like I said, it's a great way to process sounds in parallel, whether it's EQ, I've done distortion, I've done compression, I've done all sorts of things like that. And like I said, it's a great way. You just try it sometime. If you're ever wondering like why you would want to use it, just throw a sound in there, chop it up, and just try different things. So with that, I'm going to make Tomas the last one, and we're going to go on break, and we're going to come back in, let's say, 10 minutes. So the time for me is 2:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll come back at around 2:13, 2:15, and we're going to blast off to the end. So thank you all for being with us. We're going to go on a break real quick, and I'm going to get some more water, and we're going to have some more fun. What's up? And we are back. Hope we didn't lose many of you. Excited to be back with you all. We are back. Come join. Hello. Okay. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, so we are going to be plowing on through. I hope you all are having a great time, and I'm having a great time as well. It's like I said, it's finally raining here in Orlando, so I can clean away all of the pollen. It's really nice. Yes, Andrew Huang in the house. If only. If only. So the ducks that I mentioned, they passed by real quickly, and my wife tried to get a video of it. So here is very bad video quality of the ducks. So it was a duck family and her little ducklings. So we are excited to see more ducklings around our apartment. It's going to be very cute. So we are going to continue on. We have Simon Cohn. He used a boiling saucepan of water. This should be really fascinating. Can we make this a video challenge for May? We'll make it a challenge. I still need to figure out something for May, but we can make this a challenge for the future. I think that would be hilarious. Come join us. All right, so Simon Cohn using a pot of boiling water. I think my favorite thing is that that resonance filter that you're using on the proc. That is really cool. I love how you make it really aggressive. My one critique, Simon, would be I think you have great low end, but I think you could have brought out some of the high end a little bit more. Either using some distortion, either like parallel distortion, or using just distortion on just the high end, just to bring that out a little bit more. But I love it. I love the aggressiveness of it. There's a lot of great attention to detail. I love the fact that you used water for an electric sound. It's absolutely wonderful. Great job overall. Wonderful. Like that's one of the things that I love about single source sound recordings, is that it's amazing to see people being creative with a variety of different sounds. Absolutely love it. Our friend Jallo Yang, who has been with us for a long time, he's been part of the competition for a while. And let's go ahead and check out his. Here's another balloon. and the lightning. So he used a balloon as well. So I'm excited to check this out. Great job with that, Jallo. I always like to use Jallo as this. Like he is a great example of just continuing to be part of the competitions. When he first started out, he was very brand new to sound design, and he has come a long way since being part of these competitions and has learned so much. And I'm so glad that he continues to be with us and to be a part of it. He's also part of our game audio training series, and he's been very involved in helping to design sounds for some of the games that they're working on, and just absolutely wonderful to be part of the community. I love the sound overall. I will say I think your UI sounds, those clicking sounds, I think they're a little too loud. I think you could have brought that down a little bit because it's a little too distracting. And I think you could have added a little bit more low end to it, but overall, great job. Like, I love the sound that you got with the balloon itself. And I love the textures that are there. I love the intensity of the sound. Great job with that. Absolutely wonderful. Next up, we have La Paris. I am going to butcher this, so I'm just not even going to try. La Paris Gare. That was terrible. I apologize. Used a piece of paper. So, fun story. My first time designing this sound, I actually used paper. So this was a personal challenge I gave myself. I used paper to design it. And so when we did it for this competition was when I used the beard trimmer. Yeah, some French for me to try. Oh, that's you! Hey! Which I still can't even pronounce your name on Discord. Joby Joba. Joby Joba? I don't know. I'm just... Are you... want to do a stream in French? So are you from a Are you from France? Or are you from a francophone country? Because I'm curious about your Discord name, where that comes from. So let's check this out. So he used a piece of paper. So let's hear what this sounds like. There's a lot of really cool things going on in here. I love the lo-fi effect that you gave to it. You're from Morocco. Okay, so you're from a francophone. Yes. Okay, I was curious about that because of the DJ that's used there. I was wondering that because I've only ever seen that from francophone countries, not from France. So welcome. So glad to have you with us. That's one of the other reasons that I love doing the stream is getting to hang out with people from different countries, from different backgrounds, and just seeing the diverse nature of our community. I absolutely love it. There's a lot of low end and mid range. I would have loved to have heard some more high end from it. there's a lot of spacing in there. I think on that, the proc, I love the emphasis given to it, but I think with the proc, you could have taken that sound and reversed it. So that kind of, whatever thump that you used, I think you could have reversed it. Excuse me. Like I said, I think there's a lot of, it's just too much low end and not enough high end from it. So I think when you're, were you tearing the piece of paper or just crumbling it up? Because I think with this, I think tearing the piece of paper would offer a lot more textures to use and especially layer them. Even crumbling would work because the crumbling of the paper would, sorry, I'm getting distracted by chat again. So crumbling the paper would create a lot of interesting textures, especially some of those high-end textures. And then you have you have reverb on this sound, like on the lightning sound, but then there's no reverb on the proc. So that creates this sort of disparity between them. So yeah, I think you did a great job as your first attempt with it. What was I gonna say? I think you could have added more high end into it and added more textures and layers, either with tearing the paper or with crumbling it, to help fill out the range more. I love the idea that you're going for. I love the things that you created. And again, so glad to have you as part of our community. I'm glad that you love the channel and you love the community. And I can't wait to hear more of what you're going to do. On our YouTube channel, Zach Booth has joined us there. He says, thanks for the feedback. Just getting into the synths. This will give me a great reason to dive in. Zach, so glad that you're diving into April's competition. If you have any questions about synths, please don't hesitate to ask. Obviously, with the quarantine, I'm going to have a lot of time here. So if there's a need for it, I plan on making an intro to synth video. So just kind of a broad overview of synth and using synth plugins. It wouldn't be specific to any synths. It would just be kind of a broad, this is what synth is. These are the different aspects of what you'll see in plugins. Here on our, thanks you, I was struggling a lot because it was lasting a little too much. Reverb is a hard thing to get right. Reverb is one of those things that you have to keep messing with over and over and over until you start to find the sweet spot of using it. And I know that there's some people who, to this day, professional producers and engineers who still will not use reverb because it's just, it can be so finicky. But Jobijaba, I'm so glad that you were part of the competition, and this is how you get better, by doing it, by trying it, and I'm sure that you learned a lot from it. And I'm sure that you're going to continue to learn even more. Every time you do a challenge, you're going to take something away from it. And the next time you do a challenge, all of those hurdles you overcame from the previous one, it's going to make each challenge easier because now you're taking everything you've learned into the next one. So yeah, just keep practicing, keep trying different things. And yeah, reverb is hard to get right. Reverb and delay, I think, are two of the hardest things to get right and to find how they just fit into the mix because it can be so finicky. But great job. Again, I love having you part of our community. I love that you've been interacting with us on chat, and thank you so much for being with us. You being here adds so much more to the community. We did Zach's second video, so I'm not going to review this one, and same with Giallo. So now We are moving on to James Allen. My first ever tweet and first ever entry into the monthly sound design competition since London is now in lockdown. Now is as good a time as any. That is absolutely a great excuse. Nobody's really going anywhere or doing anything, so now is the time to do all those things you said you wanted to do. So let's check out James's sound. I think, let's see, is this the same? Okay, this is his video, I think, about how he did it.
Hi there, my name's James, and in this video I'll be briefly outlining the sound I created for Blip Sound's March 2020 sound design competition. Here's the clip they tasked us to redesign. This month, the one rule of the competition was that we were only allowed to use one single sound source to redesign the whole scene, so I made an asset list. This allowed me to focus in on the details of the clip and really brainstorm ideas of what source I was going to use. And you ask, what source did I settle on? The Hoover. So I grabbed my trusty shotgun mic and an XLR and recorded my source. Then I started building my sound layer by layer. I started with the sound of the Force. This layer was meant to sound evil and weighty. I used a fair amount of pitch shifting and reverb to create a bassy layer, along with a lot of compression, tremolo, reverb, chorus, etc, etc. This is what I ended up with.
Well, I don't want to waste all the time on that, so please go check out James's YouTube video. That was a lot of fun. James, you're a fun person. I love this. So it might be your first entry into Blip Sounds, but I have a feeling you have a lot of experience based on that. So I will say my critique, especially having watched that video, that vacuums the main sound that's going on, that main high pitched sound. I think that's a little too overbearing, because when you where was it? When you layered in this sound here. Like, I love that for the Force sound and for the proc. Like, I loved hearing that, and I has a sad because I couldn't hear it all that well in this video. I think you're full screen. I think your video was great overall. I think your sound was great overall. I think that your that sound, that upper layer sound that you're using, I kind of want to call it like the top sound that you're using, is too loud compared to everything else, and it's getting in the way, and I'm not hearing everything. Like, I would love to hear more from there. I would love to hear all those other sounds layered in there. But like I said, great job overall. I love that you used a vacuum, or a Hoover, and absolutely wonderful. And that you took the heart of that. You recorded a lot of different aspects of the vacuum, turning it on and off, messing, fidgeting with it. And that's when we talk about single sound source, like that's what I mean. Like, everything that you could use in the sound, or everything that you can use from your sound source, use it. It's like, if you're using a vacuum cleaner, turn it on, turn it off, tap it, move it around, like, have it make as many noises as possible, and then figure out from there what you want to use. So don't be afraid to try different things. Like I said, great job with it. I love the intensity of it. I just think that top sound was a little too much, and so I couldn't hear all the other things that you were doing. But I loved it, and thank you for being part of our competition. Thank you for your first entry, and I can't wait to see more of what you do. Thank you for your break. Your breakdown was lovely. I want to watch more of it later, and because you seem like you're a lot of fun, and it was absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait to see what you do for the April competition. And we have Rokus. All right, let's check out Rokus's sound. Rokus, if you're on our Rokus, if you are here in the stream, if you're part of our, whether you're on Discord or on YouTube, could you just let us know what your sound source was? Oh, Eshkor. Oh, see, I did this again. I don't look at the tag. I just look at the name. Rokus, Eshkor. Yes, it's you. I don't know why. I have tunnel vision, and I see like one thing, and I don't see anything else. So thank you for being on. Eshkor, what was your sound? If you hear in background sound, so like I said, it's finally raining here in Orlando. The weather is also, I actually used 52 sources for this sound. So what, did you record a sound a week? And so I have the door open in my apartment out to our patio because the weather is just really lovely outside. Oh, were you the one that was on Instagram that you posted your video on Instagram? Let me. Not now, Instagram. Where am I going? Yeah, that's you. That is you. Yep. Thought to be the one and the same. Yeah, I thought that was ingenious using cards. So I will say, when I saw you tearing, I didn't realize it was the box at first, and I thought you were tearing one of the cards. And I was like, no, now you won't have a complete set of cards. And then I realized you were tearing the box, and I was like, oh, okay. That works. So one of my, we have a serious poker player here. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I love playing cards. I dabble in Magic because, yeah, you know, like you do. So I have like quite a few packs of playing cards around my apartment that I practice various things on. I don't know why I just admitted that, but there you go. That's a thing you now know about me. So I love the attack overall. I think it's brilliant that you used a pack of cards. Cards are, yes, they are. Novice child magician. Yes, cards are very cheap. So if you wind up destroying a couple cards, you just go buy a new pack, and it's just yeah. Not to brag, but I always lose first. Yeah, that's I don't play for that very reason, because I'm always the first one out. I always go like all in, like right away. It's like second or third hand in, and I'm like all in. I don't know why. Eshkor, so I love the sound overall. I love that you use cards. There's some weird like frequency stuff going on, I think, in the upper mid-range. Which I'm sure it was... Where were you in... Oh, you were just the last one here. James, thanks for being part of the competition. We loved having you as part of here. Your video was great, and I didn't rip on it too hard. Just a little bit. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there was some weird frequency stuff going on there, and it feels like the upper mid range almost feels like comb filtering. But I love the intensity to the attack. There's a lot of low end in there, and a man of culture as well. Yes, very cultured with my water and coffee. Pinky out. And gotta focus. So yeah, Eshkor, I love the intensity to it. I love the low end. There's, like I said, there's that upper mid range that feels like it's poking out a little too much. So I think you could have brought that down a little bit. But like I said, it's a great attack overall. I love that proc sound that you got. Like, it's a nice touch. I think the volume for it was great. You're bringing attention to it, but the volume isn't overbearing. It's a great touch to it. I think my other critique, and I think your low end is fine. I think, again, like when it comes to frequency stuff, I will always err on the side of pulling out the mids more than anything else, because the mids, and when I say mid range, so I'm talking about specifically that kind of 500 to 5K range. It's a broad area of mids. You have like your low mids and your high mids. And I think you can get either really muddy, especially like in that 500 hertz range, or you can have like weird frequencies in that 1 to 5K range, which unless it's something you're intentionally trying to poke out, can get in the way of a mix, or can make things sound weird. That's just my experience. I can't give any scientific reason as to why. It's all just a personal thing. Like, those are the frequencies that I hear, and they are not pleasant to me. Could also just be my own hearing, and because, like probably a lot of musicians, I have tinnitus, so that could probably hugely affect things. But yeah, it's that range kind of pokes out, and I always tend to pull down from there. But like I said, I love the attack. The other thing that I want to pick on as well, and I've noticed this in a couple other videos, but I never said anything. Sometimes we have a tendency to make the background ambient noise a little too loud. And I think that's the case here. That's a tendency for all of us. For background ambience, always go lower than you think you should. So if it's low and you're like, is that maybe too low? It's probably perfect. Because you want background ambience to be more of a feeling, not a in your face kind of thing. If you think about, like, especially in video games, whenever there's background ambience, it's always there just enough so that you know it's there, but not loud enough unless it's intended to be. Like, you're next to a loud piece of machinery, then it should be loud. But for background ambience, go quieter than you think you should. We don't notice it as much because when you're designing the same thing over and over and over and over again, you tend to lose perspective. And so it's good to just get away from it for about a day or two and come back, and you might realize, wow, that background ambience is a little louder than it should be. So never be afraid. Never, err on the side of the background should be quieter than I think it should. Because then don't forget, too, what you hear in your DAW, then you're going to bounce it down, and then it's going to get digitally compressed when you bounce it down, and then you match it to a video, whether you do it from Reaper or your DAW, or if you put it into a video editing software, merge them together, bounce that down, it's digitally compressing it again. Then you're putting it up onto YouTube or onto Twitter, and it's digitally compressing further. And so all those sounds you thought sounded good in your DAW suddenly sound different because it's been digitally compressed 2 to 3 times before we're finally hearing it. So, and that's the other thing too, when your background ambience is too loud, some of those frequencies can take away from the attack. So bring down some of those frequencies and understand that your video is probably going to go through 2 or 3 different sources of digital compression before people finally hear it. So just err on the side of bringing things down quieter that you want to be quiet. The same thing is going to happen when you put it into a video game. So for those of you who have never put audio into an engine, one of the reasons that we always say to either make it a WAV file or an OOG file is you want something that's lossless compression versus lossy compression. So MP3 is lossy compression. Lossy meaning that it, in an effort to make the file smaller, it kind of gets rid of a lot of information that isn't needed. And MP3 can get rid of as much as 90% of the information, whereas WAV and OOG are lossless compression. So because when you dump them into an engine, the engine is going to compress everything further, because when you have a final output of the game, you want something small enough that can be digitally transferred, as well as something that's going to fit onto someone's hard drive, whether it's on their game console or on their computer. So it's going to be further digitally compressed. So if you take a sound that's been digitally compressed and it's been lossy, and it goes into a game engine and is digitally compressed even further, it's going to create all sorts of weird artifacts and can have the unintentional side effect of making certain frequencies louder or certain sounds louder that weren't intended to be louder. So that's why it is important to understand. You don't have to like get a degree in understanding digital compression, but just to understand that digital compression is going to add artifacts into your sound. So don't export to MP3. I just meant that MP3 is a lossy compression, which is why MP3 is used on all streaming sites. So when you say you load your music to streaming sites, you want to load it as a WAV, because then the streaming site is going to convert it to an MP3 so that it's a smaller size for streaming and for downloading. So you always want to export your audio as a lossless compression using WAV 16-bit or OOG. In case of Reaper, you would use OOG Vorbis as your lossless compression. I would stick with WAV 16-bit unless you're running into problems of space. And then when it goes into a digital like when it goes into either a game engine or to a streaming site or something, and then it's further compressed, you didn't lose that much information. So yeah, don't export to MP3. Always export to WAV or to OOG. Now we have alpaca sounds. Yeah, I probably didn't do S-Core. I probably didn't do a great job of explaining that. I was just more saying that MP3 is a form of lossy compression, and that's why it's but it compresses so much. That's why it's used on many streaming sites. But when you're uploading things, you want to upload them as a WAV file, so because knowing it's going to get compressed further. So we have alpaca sounds. The sound source was a crunchy roll of baking sheets. Nice. I can't wait to hear this. I love the idea of using baking sheets. Alpaca, that was incredible. Excuse me. I will say my my one critique would be that it's too much high end and not enough low end. So the it feels like it's basically all 500 hertz and up. Like there's nothing in the low end to really support it, and the high end kind of pokes out a little bit too much. So I love the idea of it. I love what you were trying. I love what you were trying to create. I think what you could have done, and I talked about this before the break, was using parallel processing to get more low end out of it and get more intensity out of it. And I think too, like when you were giving your breakdown of that video where you dropped the roll, like that roll right there, that would have been a great opportunity to create like that sharp attack at the beginning of the attack. And then, like I said, just adding in more low end. I think you could have either added a blend of distortion and reverb or something like that to help fill out some of those frequencies. But great job. Like I said, I love the idea of it. Very creative using the baking sheets, because that would help create a lot of those sounds that you wanted. I love the idea of it. I think that you could have had more low end in there to fill out the frequency spectrum and to make the attack feel more intense. We have Ahigo sounds. I remember Ahigo from last month. Let's check out their video. They used a flour sift or a sieve. So a sieve, for those who don't know, is a flour sifter. So you would put your flour into it and then you would squeeze it and it would sift the flour out. Great to use to get like clumps out of flour. It was also used before we had good practices for storing flour. There was always the prospect that you might have like little bugs or insects in it, and this would have been back in like the 1800s, like 17 and 1800s. So they would use a sieve to get the clumps out of the flour, but then also just to get out all the little bugs and eggs and stuff in there. I know, gross, but that's your little history lesson. So let's check out their sound. So there's a lot of great attacks in there, a lot of great staccato, so this should be really interesting. Excuse me. Sorry. As I've mentioned before, I'm not sick or anything. I just have a cough because with all the pollen and everything we've had, it's, it bothers my asthma a little bit, so I get a little bit of a cough. But beyond that, I'm fine. Ahigo, I love the... we learn about everything here. Yeah, well, that's... as an Enneagram, I'm a 5, so if you want to know anything about anything, chances are I've probably read something about it. And I was a history major in college, so there you go. So Ahigo, for your sound, I love that you used a sieve. I thought that was really cool. But in your sound design itself, it sounds like you used a lot of EQ filtering and basically rolled off all the high end and like kind of rolled all the way down to like 5K or something and just left a lot of the mid-range and low end in there. I love the lightning sound. I just wish that there was more high end in the sound. And like I said, you were getting some great snaps with the sieve. And some of those snaps would have been incredible to create that impact with the sound design, with the attack. I know sometimes, like when people load things to Twitter, it can do some weird compression stuff. So if you need to like reload it to YouTube or something like that to try to see like if maybe that changes the sound, because there's a lot of really like a storm didgeridoo. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It sounds a little like a didgeridoo. There's a lot of neat things going on in there. Some neat ideas. I do love that electricity sound that you were getting. It reminds me, I mentioned this before, it reminds me of the static from a Faraday cage. So I think you're there. I'm just not sure what happened to the high end, and I wish that there would have been some more snap to that attack to make it more intense. Mr. Dale. Dale is joining us again, and they used a packet of egg noodles. Oh, this should be really interesting. That is an intense attack, and I love it. I love that thwack right at the beginning, that bah! You did it on both the front attack as well as that blast right at the end. Incredible. I didn't really hear anything that bothered me frequency-wise. I think with that proc sound, you could have brought out that proc a little bit more. Because it just sounds like you threw some reverb on it. I was expecting someone called Alpaca to use an alpaca as their sound source. So over on YouTube, Justin says, I was expecting someone called Alpaca to use an alpaca as their sound source. Disappointed. Yeah, I think that would have been hilarious if they used an alpaca. Oh. Like I can hear it there. There's that proc sound is there. I think you could have added a little bit more, maybe some high-end frequency to that proc sound. But overall, like that's a great, strong attack, and I love it. I love the intensity to it. Like it it thwacks you in the face, and it was wonderful. Great job overall. Absolutely loved it. We have Peter Hockey, who I'm just making sure I'm not doubling myself. Okay. Let's check out Peter's sound. Peter Hockey was a block of piracy. Why would I do that to my ears? Oh, yes. I'm sure of all the ideas you've had, that was one you're like, oh, it's going to be amazing. And then as you're editing it, you're like, why did I do this? How many times did your skin crawl? Ooh, that was cool. I love some of the things you did with that. Let's check that out again. I love some of the stereo stuff that you added. That was really, really cool. I never would have guessed that was a block of pyrostene. I love a polystyrene. Sorry, I cannot speak. Polystyrene. I love that attack that you gave to it. Justin, I agree. It is very crisp. I love how intense it sounds. I love that attack. Yeah, I agree. Jobijaba, that is really cool motion on it. Like this sounds really cool. I love the sound that you give to the proc. Like as you watch the lightning go back to the person. I love how you animated everything. It almost kind of sounds like too, like she's like a droid of some kind, like I don't know if that was your intention, but that's what it's making me think of, and it sounds really cool. Like, now I know if I ever need to make sounds for some kind of droid or something like that, I know that I can use... yes. Yep. That's there haunting me. Haunting me all my days. I know now that I could always use some polystyrene for making a droid sound or something like that. Like, that sounded really cool. I think that was a great attack. I don't have too many notes for that, Peter. I think you did a great job. And like I said, I can't wait to hear what you do with April's sound. Let's see, we did Azile. So now we have Dominic Downing, otherwise known as Doku, who, by the way, if you haven't seen the video, Doku joins us for the April sound design competition. And he also did a live stream where he showed how he made his sound for everybody in real time for April. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. April is our synth only sound design competition. So let's see what Doku did. A paper bag. No sensor samples, just a paper bag. So I'm going to pick on... I know, there's that photo again. So I'm going to pick on Doku a little bit. And he, again, like others, the background ambience can sometimes be a little too loud, so it can take away from the sound itself. So if you think your background ambience is too quiet, you're probably at the right level. Great attack there, great frequency. I love that you added the click sound. Like, the click sound sounds really good. I think for that proc, you could have exaggerated the proc a little bit more. It's there, but I think you could have. Yeah, the thumb. Yeah, that's Ryan's doing. I love Ryan. I'm contractually obligated to say that. I think you could have been a little bit more aggressive with that proc sound of bringing that out. Especially like you start to see it light up some. So yeah, I love the sound overall. I think the background ambience was a little too loud, and I think you could have brought out that proc sound some more. But great job overall, and like I said, check out Doku's video for the April sound design competition. Ahigo, welcome. He's on our he's over on our YouTube channel. Ryan is next door with a shotgun. Yes, he is. He's standing right out on my balcony, and he's just giving me the look of just anger and shame. And I think we're at the last one. So we are at Legros, right? Okay. So Legros, I believe, is our last one. So let's go ahead and check out their sound. I like it. That's really really interesting. It goes, like I talked about before, it has the sound of a Faraday cage. It's pronounced le gros. Yes, le gros. I know, all good things must come to an end. Legro, if you're watching this on the live stream, or if you watch this later, what was it that you used for your single sound source? Because that sounds really interesting. It almost it almost sounds like you used something with a lot of static in it, or something to that effect. Henry, did you use #BlipSoundsComp? I'll look it up, but because I search by the #BlipSoundsComp. Nope. So Legro, for your sound, a lot of high end, and there's a very piercing ringing tone up there at the top. Like up in the high end, and it's really distracting and very piercing, and I wish that you would have had more low end into the sound, and a bit more of attack right on the beginning of that sound too, to really make it aggressive. But I love the static sound that you're using. And I love the sound that you used for the proc, just different enough to really point it up, to really point it out. No!
Happy Halloween!
No! Didn't do that. Nope, you didn't see that. Henry, let me see if I can find, maybe I might have accidentally passed it over. Huh. I'm going to go back through and just make sure that I didn't look it over. Okay. I will look it up. It's there it is. Not only is this my entry for this month's sound design competition, but I've also made a video documenting how I made the electricity sound, and I hope it helps.
Hello again and welcome back to another sound design tutorial where today we're doing another blip sounds competition, which is something we haven't done in a very long time, so I'm really looking forward to diving into...
Yeah, Ryan, I've already got it pulled up. Thank you. Thank you for that. I know you were being helpful, but I am a researcher by day. I think I know how to find things. Not really, I'm just being a jerk. Henry, great job. Let's listen to your sound. I like great frequency. Great range on the frequency. There was nothing that was poking out to me. I feel like you could have had a little bit more low end. Let's back it up. I think for the proc sound, I think you could have, excuse me, for the proc sound, I think you could have changed it up just a little bit to make the proc a bit different, so that it stands out more. I like the intensity that you give to it, and I think that you could have brought out, like I said, brought out the low end and added, yeah, thank you. I get fired about once a week, once every other week. I think you could have brought out the low end and brought out the high end. Yes, F in chat. Rest in peace, my career. F in chat. I think you could have brought out the high end a little bit more to kind of crisp it up and give it that intensity. And like I said, for the proc sound, changing it up just enough so that it there is a difference, because visually it's different, and so sonically you want to make it different as well. No, Eshcord, you don't need a beard, but it helps. Helps a lot. Oh yeah, no, it's so Henry. Yeah, it's required. Yeah, Eshcore, just do the best beard that you can. Just and then just see what comes out when you do that. Yeah, Henry, it's good that you have. Thanks, Ryan. It's good that you have a lot of tracks in there so that you can create a lot of layers, because the layers will help fill out the frequency spectrum. But it's also being aware of what's going on sonically as well. Wait, what? Oh, that's not me, because you still have my name changed. Oh, you son of a... You jerk. This is the moment I was born for. Oh, to be Brian. I'm confused. Yeah, as you should be. You should be. It's very confusing. So yeah, Henry, I love it overall. I love the sound. I think that, like I said, I think that the sound of the proc could have been a little bit different, because if it's visually different, you want to make it sound different sonically as well. What a goof. Yes, Justin, I agree. This is going to be so confusing. Again, I'm getting distracted and I'm trying to wrap this up. What is this? I think, yes, I'm growing a beard. Oh, the power. So long, I got lazy at the end. Yeah, it happens sometimes when you're focused on something for so long, you kind of reach that moment of like, screw it, I'm done. I want to be done with this project. But I want to focus on all the good things that are going on as well too. And like I said, I love the sound of the attack. Like, there's a lot of intensity going on. I love the layers that you added because it fills out the frequency spectrum. Like I said, it's great frequency. You could have added a little bit more high and low end. And it's something that we talk a lot about in sound design. And this is whether it's video games or whether it's in film and television. You want to give sound to whatever is happening on screen. And if it's somehow visually different, you want to make it sonically different as well. And that helps the audience to track along and to know that, okay, this is different. And also, too, you can use sound, not just visuals, but also use sound to draw people's attention to something. So if something sounds different, it's going to automatically draw the audience's attention to it because it's different. So if two things look different but sound the same, the audience doesn't know whether they're the same thing or the different thing. But if they look different and they sound different, the audience can then go, okay, these two things sound differently, or these two things are different things. And on a proc, you want to make the person playing as well, the player, you want to make them aware, okay, a proc has happened. Visually, I see it. Sonically, I hear it. There's a proc, and I need to react or respond to that. So that's why I push a lot about if something visually happens. 28 seconds. Okay. So if something visually happens, you want to make sure that you create sound for it.
Hello again, and welcome back to another sound design tutorial, where today we're doing another blip sounds competition, which is something we haven't done in a very long time. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this with you. With me, I've got, I don't know if you can hear him in the background, I've got my partner in crime, Vinny. Vinny, what do you make of this competition, mate?
Snore, ZZZZ.
Vinny, I said, what do you make of this competition, mate?
Well, why do they always use the same games for this competition? League of Legends, Smash Bros, Overwatch, Old Republic. Why can't they use an actual good game like Nintendo?
Oh, come off it, Vinny. Mate, that game came out in like 2006. No one's playing that anymore. Now, in case you don't know what a Blip Sounds sound design competition is, the YouTube sound...
Henry, lovely. Thank you. That was hilarious. I will definitely go back and watch this. Thank you for posting that. That cracked me up a lot, and that made me smile. So with that, I think we are done. I will connect with Ryan and others, and we will talk about which one we like the best. Yes, there's a very heavy French accent, and I will post up a thing for the community to vote. Vinny's words, not mine. Yep, it was all Vinny. And in the next couple of days, we will be announcing the winners for the March Sound Design Competition. So as always, we announce 3 winners: judges winner, community winner, and a random roll. So, and the winners win a free month of the game audio training series. If you want to learn more about that, head on over to blipsounds.com where you can get more information. So enter into the competition. You have 3 chances. to win a free month of the Game Audio Training Series. Thank you to everyone who participated. We had a couple people who posted for the very first time, including people who this was their very first sound that they created. And I'm so glad. This is Brian's replacement in Family Guy. I am so glad that all of you participated, and I'm so grateful for everybody who joined us in chat. We had an absolute wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to see what people create for April. So if you haven't, go check out April's announcement. We're doing an all-synth sound design, recreating an attack from League of Legends, and I'm excited to see what you all create, and I will be excited for April's stream. I hope everybody stays safe and healthy in the midst of COVID-19. Please, if you are under quarantine or shelter in place, please do take that seriously, and only go out for the things that you absolutely need. If you are able to, there are organizations out there that are currently working to help either provide supplies for the medical community or are helping to research more about COVID and things like that. If you have the ability to, please support them, whether it's through financial means or just getting the word out there. And as always, if you are part of the Blip Sounds community and you have been affected by COVID-19, either through dealing with the illness or with a family member being ill, or if this has impacted your life in some way, shape, or form through a loss of a job or anything, let us know on our Discord page and let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you. I hope everybody stays safe, and I hope you all have a wonderful April. So take care and peace out.